A blissful and thoughtful afternoon to each one of you. I hope you all are doing wonderfully well and coping with this cold. Let us make it more powerful and motivational with today's live session. I, Mahima Sindhi, on behalf of the entire MMDO family, extend a hearty welcome to each one of you to our series of live sessions wherein we bring expert professionals and celebrated artists on board to share their pearls of wisdom and their juices of life experiences to learn from. In the words of Mark Twain, the secret of getting started is getting ahead. Let us all break free and break through and virtually taste the fruits of life voyage of none other than a successful entrepreneur, a strategist, and a famous TEDx speaker, Miss Mandeep Kaur Tangra. Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. Let me
Thank you
take this
so much.
opportunity to formally introduce you. Miss Mandeep Kaur Tangra is the founder and CEO of a series of ventures, mainly Simba Quartz, an IT services and digital marketing company located in village Tangra, a rural location in Punjab. There are nearly 100 plus employees working under her umbrella. Ms. Kaur has appeared as a speaker twice at TEDx corporates, the United States, IITs, IIMs, and many other elite institutes, and has delivered talks on topics like entrepreneurship, digital marketing, and philanthropy. Her articles were covered in Corporate Social Directory by Associam India alongside other prestigious brands like TCS and Rolls Royce. Under her philanthropic work, she has successfully organized 500 plus shoe giving and food sharing campaigns. Her venture has been awarded as the upcoming startup of the year 2016 by Associam India and received an alumni award for social entrepreneurship in 2019. Ma'am Mandeep has been recognized at various stages more than 400 times. Over 1 million people follow her work on varied social media platforms. And today she is going to guide the audience about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial activities. So let us discover some insights of her inspiring journey. First of all, ma'am, how are you and how's everything going so far?
Everything is good, and thank you so much for having me today here.
Thank you so much. It is an absolute pleasure, ma'am. So let us begin with the questions, ma'am, and that's how we'll get to know you more. So the first
Sure.
question that I have for you is, how did you aspire to become an entrepreneur?
When I was doing my job, I worked for a brand Hypocity, and then I worked for another brand, Prima Gold. It is a Bangkok-based jewelry brand. So when I was doing a job, I always used to feel I am, paid well, but I'm not doing that much work which I want to do. So I always knew that I have much more capabilities in me. My soul is asking me to work more, to break through, you can say, and to do something bigger. So during my job, I realized that I should be somewhere where I could have more authority, where I could implement my ideas, and I am meant for handling bigger teams. So during my job, I realized, and then I thought to become an entrepreneur.
And I think that is wonderful, ma'am. The realization of the self. I think nobody can, know us better than our own selves. And then actually churning out that skill and taking it to another level, I think an absolute example for sure. So, ma'am, with every successful story, there are a lot of hardships and hurdles that are, involved behind that. So, what all hardships did you tackle setting up your own company? And was it a cakewalk?
There were a lot of hardships, and that is where lies the success. बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हो तो तभी हम चैलेंजेस होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. एंड वो कहते हैं कि जब आपको गर्मी फील हो रही होती है, एंड आपको तब भी अपना पेस बनाए रखना है, क्योंकि आप एक हीरा हैं. यू आर नॉट अ प्लास्टिक कि आप गर्मी से पिघल जाएं, तो आपको हीरा ही रहना है. सो आई ऑलवेज बिलीव इन दैट every person is a diamond, every entrepreneur is a diamond. और गर्मी सर्दी होती रहती है, तो डायमंड इज दैट हार्ड कि उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ता. सो हार्डशिप्स जो है वो इनिशियली शुरू हो गई थी व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग माय स्टडीज. I did my MBA. I was the topper of the university, but still it took some more months to pay back my fees to the university. That kind of environment I had when I used to study. Then when I was doing a job again, I was traveling to like far to do that job. And during my entrepreneurship, the biggest challenge I took, that is to choose my village to do the business, where I was born and brought up, where there are no IT companies, people don't know about IT, and where challenges were like it is very difficult to bring the kind of lease line I need for to run an IT company in a village. Then logistics is another problem, traveling is another problem, convincing people to stay in a village and work here, that is another problem. There is no PG culture over here. So I had to develop a full community in my own village. And when I talk to people and tell them that we are working on latest technologies, we are working in Java, in React, in Flutter, right from my village, that sounds something very different. And sometimes people don't believe that we have 100 plus employees in a village. So a lot of hardships were there, but I think that is the part of the journey.
And I think absolutely it's commendable, ma'am. I believe, like you said, choosing a rural part in your own region and then convincing people about the vision that you had. I believe it was just like a dream come true for your village, wherein they had their own IT town and it was owned by none other than you. So I think it is absolutely commendable.
Right.
So, ma'am, another next question that I have for you is: so, according to you, what do you think is leadership an innate skill or an acquired trait?
So, I thought a lot about this and I keep on thinking about this, but I personally feel that every skill is an acquired skill, right? There is, yes, we are gifted by God. Everybody is gifted by God with different skills, and something is there in our blood. But yes, we can improve on everything. सिर्फ इंग्लिश की एग्जांपल हम ले लें, so I realized when I was in my 11th and 12th कि I need to work more on my English. I didn't had that kind of background कि मेरी English बहुत अच्छी होती. So when I realized that, I started working on it, and later on it became fine, right? I could be I can do whatever I want to do by this language. But then leadership, when we talk about leadership, uh, yes, uh, somewhere again we need to acknowledge that my company, my venture needs leadership. I myself read a lot of books on leadership. I learn different leadership skills, and I also guide my employees, motivate my employees to adapt this skill, that you need to become leader, and then you need to develop more leaders out of it, out of the team. So I think any skill, later on it becomes an acquired skill if you keep on
Definitely.
improving on it.
Definitely. And I think this is quite relatable to the quote that we usually say: not everybody is born with a silver spoon. So just because I'm not born with this silver spoon, that doesn't mean I have to be disheartened. It's on me. If I want to acquire that silver spoon, I have to struggle, I have to work on it, and then one day I'll also be the king. Definitely, ma'am.
Right, right, right.
So, ma'am, what are the two most important things to be kept in mind before starting a business? I think this is the most common question that we get. So, it's not just the idea, I believe. There has to be a thought process to it. So, what do you think are the two most important skills?
See, even if it is personal thing or it is a entrepreneurial thing, you want to start with something in your life, you want to start with a job or you want to do your business. Why is very important.
Correct.
What, how, when, where is comes later. But why I am doing this, that should be very clear in your mind. So the one thing which is most important before starting a business, you should be clear in your mind that why I want to be, if I take my example, why I want to set up an IT company in my village, right? So I have a clear answer to it, that I want to give employment to the people of my village and people who are staying around my village, right? So I have a special policy in the company where I have to hire 25% of the employees within the circumference of 10 kilometers of my company, right? So why is very important. My vision of the company is changing lives, right? So changing lives mean a person who has joined the company at 6,000, 7,000, or 10,000 rupees or a stipend, after 5 years his life should transform. He should learn English and computer skills, and after 5 years if he is not earning 50,000, right, I think there our vision fails. So why is, in my company is very clear. And next thing which is very important is commitment. no matter what. Then anything comes in between, your personal thing, your medical thing, your headaches, and your financial thing. But first you have to make commitment to yourself कि मैंने ये करना ही करना है और मैंने इसको सक्सेसफुल बनाना ही है. Because with commitment comes consistency, right? If there is no commitment, no consistency. And with consistency comes the actual result. People who do the same task repeatedly and keeps on improving, there comes the compounded effect. So that is, that these are the two things, that a vision and the commitment to the venture is the most important thing you have to think before starting something.
I think very beautifully put up, ma'am, because until and unless one is, self motivated. So, like I teach my students, I tell them your goals are supposed to be smart. So, if you are not self driven, if you are asked to wake up at 3 in the night, and you have an option that you can work on your vision, if it gives you a kick there and then, and you forget your sleep, you forget your, everything, and you are ready to work towards your goal. I think that is the kind of passion and vision that one requires. And of course, the interrelationship of the things that you told, commitment, consistency, and with that comes proficiency. I think, yes, it's absolutely true. And I believe this is something that one has to be very clear of. It's not just the idea. An idea brewer is must, but at the same time, there has to be a path. There has to be a vision that you give to that idea and an actionable. Absolutely well, ma'am. So, ma'am, the next question that I have for you is it possible for a college going student to start his or own startup along with studies? And if so, how can one make that a reality?
Yes, definitely. I'm totally yes for this answer, because what I feel, the best co-founders you can have them in college. Once you are
Correct.
out from your college, then you don't know who is the finance guy, who is the HR guy, who is the marketing, who will do the graphics, who will make the website, right? So college is somewhere is the very right time where you should start thinking of a startup. But yes, definitely you can go for a corporate job for 1 or 2 years. I did the same thing. I did job for 2.5 years, and then I started off with my venture. With that comes the maturity. With that, you can even save some money if you don't have that financial background. And with that, you learn something out of the corporate. So, but thinking about your venture is very important at the early age, so that you can pick up right co-founders or mentors, at a very initial stage. And today the world is limitless, it is boundaryless. If you are a technical guy, you can start earning through making websites, simple graphics, videos. So there are very short works, content writing, a lot of things could be done from which you can start earning with a very small investment. So I think student age is the absolutely right age to start thinking of a startup.
And I think very beautifully said, ma'am. And I believe it's the balance that is required. And like we talked about in the previous question, it's the passion and the vision. If one
Yes.
has the passion and the vision, one can do it. I think it is very equal to mothers. I mean, they are the homemakers. At the same time, they do everything for the family, including working and taking care of themselves. So, just in their student life, I believe there's a little pressure on the grades. But at the same time, if you can put your grades to use, what better a combination than that?
Here I want to add,
Yes,
which
please.
is very important, क्योंकि बच्चों को लगता है कि मेरी पढ़ाई खराब हो जाएगी, या उनके पेरेंट्स को लगता है कि अगर वो
Correct.
काम करने लग जाएंगे, कुछ और सोचेंगे, तो उनकी पढ़ाई खराब हो जाएगी. बट आप में इतनी आग होनी चाहिए, इतनी फायर होनी चाहिए, इतना पैशन होना चाहिए कि वो पढ़ाई आपको छोटी सी लगने लग जाए और उसमें भी आप टॉप करो. आपको
Correct.
अपनी क्षमता बढ़ानी है, अपनी
बिल्कुल,
कैपेसिटी
बिल्कुल.
टू डू थिंग्स बढ़ाना है आपने. See,
Hmm.
recently, the girl who became the Miss Universe, right?
Right.
So 21 की एज में अपनी कैपेसिटी, अपनी क्षमता, अपनी मेच्योरिटी इतनी बढ़ा ली कि शी
Hmm.
स्टडिंग आल्सो, she has won Miss Universe also, and lot of sports guys and lot of people do this.
Correct.
So whenever you think कि मैं बहुत थक गया हूँ, मेरे बहुत ज्यादा काम है, या ये परफॉर्म नहीं अच्छा कर सकता, a real passionate person, for him studying is a very small task, and he or she can do it very beautifully in a very good way.
Right.
और उसके लिए पढ़ना एक बहुत छोटा काम होता है, बिजनेस करना बहुत बड़ा काम होता है उसके सामने.
राइट. एंड लाइक यू सेड, अगर वो फायर है तो ये सब प्रेशर्स कुछ नहीं लगेंगे. इट्स जस्ट, आपको पता, इट्स लाइक एन एंटरप्रेन्योर विद एन एवरीडे टास्क. he'd sleep with a to do list, and usko pata है end of the day uski to do list half done honi chahiye, and that's how he'll be able to, he or she would be able to sleep peacefully. In the
Right.
similar manner, I think वो studies एक to do बन जाना चाहिए कि हाँ ये
Mhm.
करना है और इसमें अच्छे grades लेने ही लेने हैं, and at the same time you do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Absolutely. So, ma'am, just because we were talking about students and how they can, start up with their own cultures and everything. So, are there any agencies or organizations which fund aspirants who aspire to take up initiatives and start their own brand?
Yes, there are a lot of angel investors and there are a lot of VC funding is there, but that comes later on.
Correct.
There might be some, government policies also, but here I want to add. See, India needs entrepreneurs who are on their own, right? I have a 10 years journey where I came to only 100 employees, right? But it's my own journey. It's an organic journey. It doesn't came with the investment from outside, right? So rather than finding agencies to, help you to fund you, India needs organic ventures. India needs a venture which a student has started just with 1 lakh rupees, with 2 lakh rupees, with 50,000, and organically he has grown that venture. So there are successful examples in the country where people were never funded and they have started with a very small, thing. So that's why I'm asking that, what is need to be done. You should be running a successful pilot project, or you should made a minimum viable product before going to an investor, or getting an investment from bank. People are there, they are present, but you can only attract them if you can show them some profitability at very small age. तो नॉर्मली सारे यही सोचते हैं कि मुझे छोटे आइडिया पे ही फटाफट कोई फंड कर दे, बट अगर आप छोटे आइडिया को सक्सेसफुल बना के थोड़ा सा प्रॉफिट दिखा दोगे, ट्रूली, तो यू विल गेट इन्वेस्टर्स इवन इजीली.
आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इक्वल टू, वो बोलते हैं ना मैम, जो दिखता है वही बिकता है, काम करके दिखाओ. सो देट यू विल हैव fair enough people coming and investing in your project if they see profit, if they see a multiplying effect. अगर सिर्फ बातें बोल रहे हो, so I think वो बातों में वजन होना जरूरी है, and that वजन will come only if you show something, if there's an action to it, for sure. And I believe, like you said in the previous answer as well, that it is important if they can start working somewhere. I mean, they can work for a year or two and get some capital from there and then invest their own capital into something very profitable.
Right.
Even I think that is a better option,
Yes.
right? So, ma'am, what do you think of the current startup culture in our country? I mean, do you have any comments to make on that?
See, I don't go much by what is going on in the news. So I go much by what I observe, how, because I continuously I am working on entrepreneurship. I'm delivering lectures. I'm attending so much on entrepreneurship. I'm very much in depth of it. But I feel the current startup culture is very, very positive, because a lot of universities are now, working in this. They have entrepreneurship cells. They are changing the students mindset from a job seeker to job creator, right? So a lot of, yesterday I was in one of the webinar of one of the university, and similarly it's here also, that the vice chancellors, they have vision to have entrepreneurship in the curriculum. They are incubating, the startup culture has started, and now people, they believe that something could be done in India also, because finally the whole market is in India only. Even you make a successful venture in US or Canada, you cannot skip the Indian population, right? Your venture will only be successful when you will target the population of India. You make TikTok, you make Instagram, you make Facebook, you make Amazon, then you have to come to India, even you are an Indian. So why, we should not start something in India and make it successful? So the startup culture is very, very positive, and people have realized that yes, with smaller chunk of money, because of technology has taken, so much, is in every field now. Technology is in every field now, so much could be done with little also. So I think it's very, very positive. People who are thinking of entrepreneurship, people who are thinking of starting their own ventures, they should definitely go for it. But along with that, you can join the jobs if you want to for some period of time, and go with organically grown ventures, go with small ventures which over a period of time become big ventures, so that you enjoy the ownership of it. There's a difference between enjoying the money and enjoying the ownership of a company. So I am currently enjoying the ownership of my company, where 100% it belongs to me and my employees. We are not answerable to anybody. We can have our kind of policy, we can do anything we want to in our village. We can fund any natural, something happened in the company or anything, we can, everything is in our hands, so uska maza hi alag hai bilkul hi. So I think it's very positive and people should come forward.
Right. And I think it's just like being your own boss. So everybody loves to be their own boss, right? And जब वो command आता है मैम, जब वो hold आता है, with that comes responsibility and accountability. But I think enjoying that power is also a different level. It's another kick that you get in life for sure.
Right.
And
So
also,
here,
like you, yes,
here I want to add that be your own boss, which Mehma, you have mentioned that be your own boss in an organically grown venture which is
right,
totally on your own. So now, who is richer? The person who has lot of investments, million billion dollar investment his venture, and then firing employees at a very large scale,
correct,
or right when there is a problem in the company, because nothing is in his hands. He cannot follow the value system, cannot follow the ethical system, that yes, we have to, he will be spending on buildings, but will not be spending on the salaries. But a venture like us, in COVID times, it has paid salary to everybody. We have fired no one. We gave a hike to everyone. So who is richer, right? So first, the entrepreneurs need to learn the meaning of being rich. The money
correct.
makes you rich, or a big heart makes you rich. So there
Definitely,
comes a
yeah.
difference, that you are your own boss. I can spend money not on the building, I can
Hmm.
spend money not on the marketing, but
In
right
seven
time
points.
I can spend the money for the people of my company.
Definitely. And I think at the end of the day, these human relations that we create and the resources that we have, I think they are the greatest asset a company can have. No
Yes.
company can be run by only machines and buildings. We ultimately need manpower, and we need manpower who are expert at their own profession, and investing on them, helping them stay in the organization for long, and building relationships is the key for sure. Definitely, ma'am. So, coming up to the next question, ma'am, many people still believe that if given a choice, so this is a common question when I take up HR rounds with my students or otherwise. So, this is a common question that they are asked for. So, if given a choice, if you want to choose a 15-year-old brand and a 15 months old brand, which one would you choose? Which one would you choose? And I believe most of them, deep down their heart, they want to be an entrepreneur. But when it comes to having a making a choice, they would want to go with somebody who's great in history. So, what are your comments on this one?
See, for this, I thought that my answer is that a brand which is a 15 years old brand or 50 years old brand was once a 15 months old brand, but was
Exactly.
once a 15 days old brand. So
Correct.
sometimes what happens that, even in our company, people compare it with bigger IT companies, right? So
Hmm.
the comparison should not be, you know what Simba Quartz is doing and what TCS or Infosys is doing. The comparison should be what Simba Quartz is doing after 5 years, and after 5 years of inception, what Infosys was doing, right? So the comparison should be at least of the similar years. If I started in a small room in
Exactly.
my village, then Google also started in a garage, right? So
Correct. Correct.
so and now the taste and everything is changing. I think the new generation is very much they are okay with trying and testing new brands also. So I have a mixed views on this.
Right. I think I would second you on whatever you said. So this is the exact answer I give them. So when they tell them, no, ma'am, you know what, 15-year-old, it's a brand, it's a legacy. Why not go associate ourselves with that? But then I tell them, do you, if given a chance to be your own, boss, would you like to have? And they're like, yes. Then I have the similar
Mhm.
question. Then why do you think people will come join you if you are, you yourself are not convinced of joining a startup? I think people,
Right.
like you said, it's a mixed opinion that we hold. and students as well, and I mean the budding entrepreneurs or the aspirants that we have coming out, they also have a mixed one. Some of them are dare heartedly ready to take the risk. Some of them still have that fear somewhere that agar fail ho gaye to, agar kuch nahi bana to, agar startup nahi chala to, so those kind of ideas, and then they want to be associated with somebody who's old in the market. So i
Right.
i
So
would
I gave the answer in context of products and services, but in if in context of entrepreneurship,
say,
then the answer is like uh, you know sup- the chances to grow and chances to flourish is more in startup, right? A
correct.
person, it's very difficult to reach at the top in the established
Exactly.
brand, but with
Exactly.
small startups you can reach anywhere you want to.
Hmm.
And next, even if you don't have that courage to be an entrepreneur, you are always an entrepreneur if you have joined a team which is on below 100, right?
Correct. And when they're in the initial age.
Yes.
Very
So
true.
you can be an entrepreneur, because if everybody will be an entrepreneur, then who will be an entrepreneur and
Correct.
who will be employees,
Very true.
right?
Very
So,
true. Very true.
yes.
Also, I think if one has that heart to join something which is very new, the person can be given multiple roles. He can
Mhm.
probably put the in charge of finance. At the same time, he could have some perspective to show in the marketing team. He can also contribute a little towards sales and then HR. So he's actually into multiple roles, and the learning that comes with that and the growth factor that comes with that, I think it's unmatchable in an organization which has complete hierarchy. So if I've been put into a sales role, I am there only. Nobody will take my opinion from finance. So that's what it, I mean, that is definitely a limiting factor there. So the next question that I have for you, ma'am, is, so many people, I mean, talking about the entrepreneurial activities like the session is based upon. So what all entrepreneurial activities does the government provide to people with big ideas?
See, I didn't, my view is like I never, took the help of government in my venture.
Correct.
Uh, I always try to be very safe from the external environment. That is my strategy, my way of working. So the government is having, there are a lot of portals from where we can learn. हमारे यहाँ पे अमृतसर में and in all the districts, I think there is a district officer especially for entrepreneurship, right? So in Punjab there are, so sometimes I go there, I motivate people, and they are also helping people to get jobs, to start small businesses. There are self help groups, lots of things are happening. But in my case, I'm not much aware also, plus I don't take any interest also, because that is somewhere we get slows down. And मुझे ये कि हमने सब कुछ खुद ही करना है, क्योंकि I am not a complaining person. For me sanskar are more important than sarkar, right? So keep your sanskars high, right? Your ethics, your values, your honesty, your passion to do work high, and keep the sarkar only to appreciate you अगर उन्होंने कभी कर दिया तो, right? So
Right.
when we get depend, even employees हो, even fund managers, मतलब कि funding करने के लिए कोई financiers हो, banks हो, government हो, अगर हम उन पे डिपेंड होने लग जाएंगे, होप जगाएंगे, आस रखेंगे कि वो हमारे लिए कुछ करेंगे, we are just losing our time. So and a true entrepreneur, especially in India, क्योंकि इंडिया में सारे कहते हैं कि जो इन्वायरमेंट है वो सपोर्टिव नहीं है। सो सब कुछ आप खुद करने की कोशिश करो। अगर इन्वायरमेंट ने आपकी हेल्प कर दी, आपको गवर्नमेंट ने, पॉलिसी ने, बैंक ने कभी हेल्प कर दी, तो उसको बोनस मान के जो है वो आप चलें, राइट? बट अदरवाइज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ स्टार्टअप इंडिया, स्टैंड अप इंडिया, बहुत कुछ है। सो आई एम वेरी ऑनेस्ट, आई हैव बीन टू दीज थिंग्स, मैंने इसमें ट्राई किया, कोशिश की, बट मुझे, बिकॉज आई डोंट ब्राइब, आई एम नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ प्लीजिंग पीपल टू गेट माई जॉब डन। सो कभी मैंने वो फेवर लिया भी नहीं और मुझे मिला भी नहीं, ये भी आप कह सकते हैं, ठीक है? सो दिस इज माई एडवाइस टू एवरीबडी कि गवर्नमेंट का बड़ा कुछ है, यू कीप ऑन स्टडिंग दैट, कुछ उसमें से आप ग्रैब कर सकते हैं तो उसको बोनस समझे, अदरवाइज चूज अ पाथ विच गोज साइडवेज, ताकि आपको फिर दुख ना लगे कि ये पॉलिसी है और मुझे हेल्प नहीं मिली।
So it's again the way you said, try creating your own empire all by yourself, be as organic as you can be, and take less of help which is from outside environment, and be the helper you can be from your inside. So I think I
क्योंकि लोग
equally.
क्या करते हैं, people who want to be entrepreneurs, for them to study the policies to get them implemented is okay. But people who are social entrepreneurs, they want to bring a change. They are not only doing things for profit, because a person like me can have her venture in a city also. I have option to be in US, I could do things there also, but I have chosen my village. So if you are a hardcore businessman, उसमें कोई बुराई नहीं है. देन फर्स्ट स्टडी पॉलिसी एंड देन डू सम बिजनेस जो उसके रिलेटेड हो, उसके पूरा फेवर में हो, कि इस बार सरकार ने क्लोथिंग पे ये टैक्स माफ किया तो मैं क्लोथिंग बिजनेस करूंगा अगले 10 साल, राइट? सो दैट इज द अदर स्ट्रेटेजी. बट इफ you are doing it from your heart, if you are a social entrepreneur, then आपको ये एक्सटर्नल इन्वायरमेंट से अलावा काम करना पड़ेगा. अगर आपको यहाँ से कोई हेल्प मिल जाए तो वो अलग बात है.
Correct. So like you said, I think I'd like to put it up in a crux bit that या तो खुद से मेहनत करो या फिर be socially aware, be very apt with what is happening, what are the new policies that are coming up, and then you know the right way how to get it implemented. वो कहते हैं ना, little knowledge is always harmful. So be well versed with what is happening and then put it to use if you can. And then मेहनत तो मैम हर चीज में, doing it your way or getting it done the other way. I think effort तो दोनों में equally required है. Correct. So, ma'am, coming to the next question that I have, how can a newly set up startup earn credit worthiness in the market in its initial years? I mean, I think people don't trust them. So, how can they get that trust? How can they gauge that from the external stakeholders?
So, very straight answer, and it could be helpful to everybody. So you work on your personal branding also. Today I am here because of my personal branding, because I'm very active on social media, have been followed by over 1 million people, right? I'm very active on LinkedIn also, because I keep on writing my story. I keep on mentioning what is happening. अब क्या हुआ, 8-9 साल हो गए मुझे LinkedIn पे लिखते आर्टिकल्स, मुझे LinkedIn पे पोस्ट डालते कि ये यहाँ पे मैं पहुंची हूँ, ठीक है? So people have grown old with me, वो वाली बात हो गई है. So credit worthiness becomes with the face of the person. Networking is very important, meeting people is very important, marketing is very important. तो normally जब हम business करते हैं तो हम sales and marketing के लिए बंदा रख लेते हैं. Even if you are a hardcore technical person and you want to be an entrepreneur, फाइनली आपको मैनेजर ही बनना पड़ेगा, फाइनली आपको सेल्स मार्केटिंग करनी पड़ेगी, आपको फेस बनना पड़ेगा. When you become the face of your company, people start trusting you even in your very initial days. But when you keep your brand ahead of you, then nobody will know Simba Quartz in initial year. Simba Quartz कौन है, ऑनलाइन दिखा नहीं पता, राइट? सो इनिशियली जब मैं अपने आर्टवर्क्स भी बनाती थी, एड चलाती थी, तो अब भी होता है कि आई ऑलवेज पुट माई पिक्चर विद माई नेम, विद माई प्रोफाइल्स, कि अगर आपने इसके ओनर को देखना है तो आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो. सो इट्स अ वेरी इजी ट्रिक. When you have a startup, work very sincerely on your personal branding, on your own social media, so that people could develop trust on you. And initially in 1 2 3 years, they will not work with your brand name, they will work with you. They want to meet you, they want to talk to you. So sales and marketing, business networking, the face of the company should be you. So whatever, even you are a good chef, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to come to a managerial role. बहुत सारे लोग इसीलिए ग्रो नहीं कर पाते कि वो मैनेजरियल रोल नहीं लेते. तो मैं उनको बताना चाहती हूँ कि जिनको ये नहीं पता लगता कि एमबीए क्यों करते हैं, ये उसका आंसर है कि एमबीए करनी पड़ी,
इसलिए करते
जरूरी
हैं. Very
मैनेजर
true.
होना.
वेरी एप्टली पुट मैम. आई थिंक जब तक वो लाइक वी से फॉर एग्जांपल वो पॉडकास्ट सेशंस हम लोग करते हैं, until and unless there is a face to the voice, until and unless they know who is the person who is giving these vision statements and mission statements, how will one feel confident कि इनके अंदर believe करे भी या नहीं करे? So absolutely, it's you have to own it up, and वो brand की credit worthiness आपके साथ आएगी, and later on वो एक brand बन जाएगा जिसमें फिर लोग आपको नहीं, I mean people will recognize you by the name of the brand, but I think initially they recognize you by who you are and who is the visionary behind that. Definitely, ma'am. So the next question that I have for you is, what different strategies can one use to market his or her business?
There you need to brainstorm. Even today I had a customer in my office, and I was telling the same thing. you have any kind of services, any kind of product, you have to brainstorm. छोटी सी एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. One of my customer wants to launch a clothing brand, right? So we need to sit and then we need to finalize all the channels. My own e-commerce, Facebook store, Instagram store, the other e-commerce channels, offline sales, offline stores, right? So we need to make different products for different channel, different strategies for different channel, different pricing strategy for each channel, and how, we can choose different or use different social media platforms to market that product. So I think
Correct.
brainstorming session is very important. One thing I want to add here, some people feel Instagram is very popular, so I should do everything on Instagram, right? And some people feel, Amazon is doing great sales, so I should put all the products there. So it is
Correct.
always a mix, right? हम marketing mix पढ़ते हैं, इतनी ये एक important term है integrated marketing communication,
Right.
right? There is like कि we have to study all the marketing channels कि हमारे business में क्या क्या apply होंगे. कुछ दिन पहले मेरी कनाडा में एक बंदे से बात हो रही थी एंड ही वाज सेइंग कि हम पहले रेडियो ऐड करते थे, बट अब हमारे बच्चे अब बिजनेस संभालते हैं तो वो कहते हैं कि रेडियो ऐड नहीं करनी, डिजिटल मार्केटिंग करनी है, राइट? बट देयर शुड बी अ मिक्स. दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू
Mix.
सजेस्ट इवन इन
Definitely.
सेल्स as well as in marketing. Percentage could be, could be like 60% could be digital marketing, 10% could be a radio ad, 5% could be a TV ad, but it should always be a mix, even in sales as well as in marketing channels.
Correct. And I think because you don't know where your market is basically, you don't know कि customer कौन सा customer किधर से जाके convince हो जाए and then the person spreads the word. So we can't
Yes.
just rely on one particular bit and then उसी
और पता नहीं ना टिकटॉक की तरह कब बंद हो जाए सारा कुछ. वी डोंट नो.
I'm so sorry. I think I lost my network. Ma'am, could you hear my
It's fine.
last question?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, I'll just repeat it for you. So I was telling you that they say the first 5 years in any new business, even if one is on a no profit, no loss situation, so that's completely okay. So does it hold true in your opinion as well?
Yes, it holds absolutely true, because entrepreneurship is the game of compounded interest,
Hmm.
राइट? सो जो सार क्या होता है कि आप फर्स्ट ईयर में, सेकंड ईयर में होते हैं तो आपको कोई 50,000 का क्रेडिट कार्ड देने के लिए रेडी नहीं होता. दिस इज ट्रू एग्जांपल, ना. और
Correct.
एक टाइम ऐसे होता है कि बैंक दूसरी साइड पे खड़े होते हैं 6 साल बाद की 1.5 करोड़ का लोन ले लो, हम लेते नहीं है, राइट? सो इट हैपेंस. सो यू नेवर नो कब वो पॉइंट हमारी लाइफ में आए, एंड इट इज ओके. 2 years you are not that successful, 3 years you are not that successful, 5 years it took to come at no profit, no loss. But with time, those things, your employees, your assets, everything will be your asset in the company, and आपको रेपिटेटिव बिजनेस या किसी ना किसी फॉर्म में उसका रिजल्ट जो है वो आना ही आना है. सो इट इज टोटली ओके इफ फर्स्ट 5 years आपका वैसा रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा जैसा आप चाहते हैं, बिकॉज आप मुझे देख लें कि मैंने 10 साल वेट किया है.
Correct. Hmm. And I think they say, ma'am, joint like we study different kinds of businesses. So I myself, I'm a commerce student. So I remember we used to talk about joint Hindu family businesses. So I think उसमें वो ठेठ businessman जो होते हैं वो कहते हैं कि खर्चा निकल जाए उतना भी बहुत है, बाद में पैसा कमा लेंगे. Initially वो खर्चा पे निकल रहा है. So I think that is stating कि आपका business एक consistency पे चल रहा है and एक time पे
Yes.
you'll start making profits. Very rightly
Right.
put, ma'am.
So
So
I
ma'am,
want to
what?
add here.
Right.
I want to add here. In 2015, there was a major loss in my business, right? So
Okay.
I was not earning. I felt a major loss, and in 2019 and 20, my company was the very profitable venture. So I was paying huge tax. in COVID year, I again had to take loans, right? So I enjoyed the good part also, I enjoyed the lavish part also. We had parties, we had fun, we had everything, right? And then I saw the toughest time also of my life ki jahan pe employees ko bhi laga कि इससे आगे हम नहीं जा सकते, राइट? तो जब हम पूरे हॉट गर्म हो जाते हैं प्रॉब्लम्स के साथ, वही मैंने हीरे की बात की, तो तब आप याद रखें कि आप प्लास्टिक नहीं है, आप हीरा है.
Exactly. And I think that's the most beautiful, motivating thing one could say. And I'm sure everybody is going to remember, because I think this happens with everybody in life.
Right.
Ma'am, एक moment आता ही आता है when you feel the world is falling apart and you see yourself nowhere. So उस time पे feeling yourself and then knowing that you are capable of big enough things, and when you started, why did you start, and then looking at that vision, एंड देन जितने भी लोग आपके ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है उनको बोलना कि अगर आप गिर गए तो वो सब गिर जाएंगे. आई थिंक दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड देन like we see you've come up beautifully, and I'm sure everybody is smiling, your employees are smiling with you hearing you say this. So for sure ma'am, motivated after this one. The next question I have for you is, what entrepreneurial hacks have you developed to stay focused and productive on a daily basis? I'm sure day to day challenges aate honge ma'am. So how do you what is that cup of tea? What do you drink basically? Kaise hai that you are always productive and through?
मुझे मेरे से ना मुझे मैं आंखें बंद और खुले दोनों में सपने देखती रहती हूँ. एंड आई बिलीव, वेरी स्ट्रांगली बिलीव कि जो मैं सोचती हूँ वो मैं कर सकती हूँ, राइट? सो कई बारी मेरे मम्मा भी पूरा बिलीव करते हैं मेरे में कि जो सोचते हैं वो कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो बट आपके फ्रेंड्स हैं, एम्प्लॉयज है, कभी उनको लगता है कि शायद ऐसे हवा में कर रहे हैं. बट जब मैंने अपनी जर्नी 10 से 100 एम्प्लॉयज की देखी, और अब नेक्स्ट ईयर में आई हैव अ ड्रीम कि मेरे 250 300 एम्प्लॉयज अगले साल हो जाएं, राइट? सो चीज़ें जो है ईजी लगती हैं. 10 से 100 होना बहुत टफ है, बट 100 से 1000 होना आई थिंक उतना टफ नहीं है. सो hacks are the only this that I stay very positive, and for me work is most important. तो होता क्या है कि हमें पर्सनली और इधर उधर बहुत मेंटल स्ट्रेस आ जाता है, गर्ल्स को तो ज्यादा ही. तो वो एक बार बेड पे पड़ गई तो बाद में मन ही नहीं करता उठने का, ठीक है? तो चाहे 4 घंटे, बट आई डोंट डू दैट. फॉर मी वर्क इज वर्शिप. Nobody can stop me from working. So काम की इज्जत करनी बहुत जरूरी है कि वो आपकी इज्जत बढ़ाता जाए, ठीक है? सो आई गिव लॉट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट टू माई वर्क and all the people I meet every day. So I am a good networker, I must say. अपने आप तारीफ कर देनी चाहिए अपनी.
नहीं मैम, for sure. Self motivation is the
yes. So वही है कि there comes कि आप काम की इज्जत करें और वो आपकी इज्जत जो है वो बढ़ाता जाएगा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. एंड लाइक यू सेड मैम, आपका वो zeal दिखता है इवन इन योर टॉक्स. So it is quite evident how zealous you are when it comes to work, and how crazy can you go when it comes to work, for sure. Second last question that I have for you is, so if you had to battle a giant, which weapon would you use as per the current market's hiking competition? So what is that one strategy you use if it is to go against a competitor, or probably go hand in hand with the competitor?
I collaborate with people. I never compete. I even
Oh,
don't compete with my competitors I have in my
right,
area, right? So I
right.
am a kind of person. There is a company in my own city, might be around 30 40 kilometers from here, doing similar kind of business. So I have interviewed the owner on my Facebook channel where I have 10 lakh followers, right? So I have
Wow.
that courage
Hmm.
कि my motive is to bring more business to Punjab, to my city.
Right,
It even comes through my competitor. I'm totally fine. So हमें इंटेंशन अच्छी रखनी है. सो कट
right.
थ्रॉट वाला कंपटीशन मैंने करना होता है या बिजनेस करना होता तो मैंने चंडीगढ़ होती, बैंगलोर होती, हैदराबाद होती,
Correct.
राइट? ये
Hmm.
होती मैं, राइट? सो आई हैव नो कॉम्पिटिटर अराउंड. एंड मैंने अपने कॉम्पिटिटर को बोल दिया कि मेरे एम्प्लॉयज नहीं रखने आपने, मैंने आपके लिए रखने. ठीक है?
Correct,
So
correct. It's a mutual
I even
collaborative effort. Hmm.
allow my employees to compete among themselves. So for
Hmm.
me, with everybody is always collaboration, never a competition.
Right. And I think it's even if one has to compete for positive motivation, the competition has to be with one own self. I mean, you have
Yes.
to see if you are a better version of yourselves on an each passing day. And if you see that even 1% of difference, I think it is absolutely wow. For sure, ma'am. The last question that I have for you is, I know I've taken a lot of time from you. So,
No,
what are
fine.
those? Thank you so much, ma'am. So, what are those four key skills that one must possess to become a successful entrepreneur?
So the first skill is leadership.
Right.
You need to be a leader. You should do your task first, and then ask your employees to do that task. The most difficult part normally in the companies are sales and marketing. In my company, after 10 years, I am having the first girl in the company to do sales and marketing after me. So even we were doing crores of sales, 95% of the customers were coming through me, right?
Okay.
So take the leadership wherever it is a difficult thing to do, you take the charge. So first skill one must possess is a leadership skill, and second is motivation. You should
Correct.
be able to motivate your people. You should have that. You should read a lot, you should analyze, you should observe a lot, and out of those examples you should be able to motivate your people. So first is leadership, second is you should have the capability to motivate somebody else, and next is decision making, right? तो तुम
Correct.
डिसाइड कर लो, तुम देखो कैसे करना है, सो वो नहीं हमने करना, हमने डिसीजंस लेने हैं, बिकॉज दैट उससे जो है कि फास्ट प्रोसेस हो जाता है, थिंग्स आर वेरी वेरी फास्ट, आप जल्दी ग्रो करते हैं व्हेन
Correct.
यू आर गुड एट डिसीजन मेकिंग. तो कई बार
Correct.
हम घर पे ब्लैक डालना है कि व्हाइट, उसमें डिसीजन नहीं ले पाते, राइट? सो
Very
एन
true.
entrepreneur हैज टू बी very quick in
Very
decision
quick
making.
thinking on the feet, right?
First take the decision, and then you follow that, right? So these are the top three. And जो fourth है वो आप कोई भी लगा लो, create, you should be creative, you should be visionary, you should be good in networking, uh,
Hmm.
you should be a people person. So and अगर आपने fourth मेरी तरफ से add करना है, तो that is like you should be very organized.
Right. Right.
वेरी
It's
ऑर्गेनाइज, द टाइम टेबल जो बना है हमारा, सारे दिन में हमने करना क्या है, टाइम इज एवरीथिंग, राइट? इफ यू आर नॉट यूटिलाइजिंग योर टाइम प्रॉपरली, यू आर प्लेइंग विद द लाइव्स ऑफ पीपल हु आर वर्किंग फॉर यू, राइट?
correct.
सो हमारे टाइम से ही सारा कुछ जुड़ा हुआ है. सो delegate your task and have a team who can help you to manage your time well.
Right. Definitely. I think, ma'am, the way you said it, you've already put it so well. You've already streamlined it that I am already getting inspired by whatever you've said. And I'm sure everybody out there who wants to be an entrepreneur is also getting inspired. So I must admit that your life journey and successful achievements in career speaks volumes about your work. We've all had plenty of takeaways and actionables to take home. Wishing you huge success, love, and luck your way. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining in. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so, so much, ma'am. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mema, and you are a great host, and I
Thank you so,
loved your
so much.
questions. मैं वैसे उतनी प्रेज करती हूँ जितनी प्रेज बनती है. So it's like you are good. I really love the question and the way you took interest in every answer. Thank you so
Right.
much. Thank you
Thank you
to the
so much,
whole
ma'am.
of your university, your management, and the students who listen to us, and all our viewers on social media.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hoping to have you all again on the team, and then we'll have wonderful learnings from you and takeaways from you. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you
Thank
so much, ma'am. Have a great day.